Thanks for joining. Today I'm going to be applying Rubio Monocoat Oil Plus 2C Black. It's my first time doing this, so it should be kind of interesting. The reason I chose Rubio Monocoat was because the effect caught my eye looking at projects done online, and I really like the way it brings out the texture and the grain. I also like the finish of it. I am looking for a satin finish. Something that's not a film finish, but more something that's a penetrating finish that will soak in. After choosing Rubio Monocoat, I started reading a little bit more about it, and there's some other benefits too. For one, it looks like it's easy to apply and relatively foolproof, and that really appeals to me. I sanded to 120. You don't have to sand any higher, and you don't have to sand in between coats. This will be sort of a one coat process. So a lot of good reasons to choose it, as well as it's zero VOCs. I think that we have a problem with air pollution within our own homes with a lot of the chemicals that we breathe, and I'm really a fan of having something that is a zero VOC product. I think that's important, and I often lean that way when I have a choice of something that's going to be in the house. I hope to use it again in future projects, and including flooring, so this is a good test piece to use it on. I'll be staining a door today, a barn door made out of ash. And so far I've prepped the surface with 120 grit and wiped it down with mineral spirits. Here's where there's some deviation from the instructions, and hopefully it doesn't cause any problems. I understand that mineral spirits can leave a film or a residue behind if there's any contaminants in your mineral spirits. You definitely want to avoid that. And my mineral spirits, I wiped it down about 45 minutes ago, and I still have some splotchy marks that I can still see the mineral spirits in the wood. So I'm going to be waiting until those disappear fully. And the plan is to mix it by weight. I'm going to use 1/3 of the product that I have. This is the product I have to do this whole project. And if I use 1/3, if I can get enough coverage on one side of a door, it's 82 inches tall by 40 inches wide. If 1/3 of this covers it adequately, I know that I have enough product to continue with the rest of it, plus some extra. So that's the goal. An advantage, though, of using this is if I do fall short, there's no lap lines left over, so I can always go back later and touch it up or finish the spots that I didn't get to, and I'm not going to be worried about it leaving marks. So that's the plan. I've got with me here a small scale for weighing, plastic scraper for spreading, gloves, and I asked my local wood supplier for some buffing pads, and that's all this is. It's basically a non-scratch 3M white scuffing pad, and an old towel whose color I don't like. And we don't have anything in the house to match that anymore, so hopefully that's good. However, this towel, the other reason I picked it, it's been washed a million times. It's never been used in the garage or for anything else, so it should be free of contaminants, and I've already checked, and it's free from lint as well. I've rubbed it over some rough surfaces, and I could not pick up any lint off of it, so I'm pretty sure this is going to be a great thing for wiping off the excess. You have about 15 minutes to do that. From what I've read online, people have had problems, have said that they didn't get to it within 15 minutes and it turned gummy on them and became harder to remove. So I'm hoping to avoid that. I'm going to start a timer and just pay attention to it as we go, and just make sure that I'm not blowing past the 15 minutes. Like I said, you've got lots of margin of error is big on this. So you've got lots of pot life. You've got 6 hours before you need to use it all up. You really don't have to rush through on something this size. And again, if you fall short or need to stop and start wiping off excess before you blow past that 15 minutes, you can always pick up after you've done that step and continue on. So that's the plan. We'll see how it goes.
Seen the devil down the road, hey. He seemed to pass me by, yeah. But he was looking blue-blooded all over. I stopped to ask him why. He said, well, I built my fortune there, boy. It's what I do best, because we'll So daily I just killed a man with a down no bullet to the chest. But don't ask me why, no, no. Some men were just born to die. I see your morning sun come arising. There's a blister inside my eye. Oh, mama gonna never let you go. Get your sun don't come from the skies, yeah. She knows what you're doing there, boy. Singing on for yourself. You wanna be the righteous prophet, but you're a little far from it. Well, that's what I consider your health, yeah. But don't ask me why, no, no. All these kids believe in your fucking lies, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, come
on! Well, the door's finished on one side. It went just as expected. I'm very happy with how it turned out. The grain on this really popped, and it totally muted down the screws, which is what I was hoping for. I did want exposed screws, kind of that harsh contrast to a soft looking wood, and I'm happy with it. Of course, it'll be nice to see it standing up from a distance when it's hanging, but the Rubio Monocoat went on very well. There's a few splotchy spots that I noticed when sanding. Had some issues. The grain sort of polished up a little bit in some areas, but very hard to see if you don't know they're there. And I may have gone a little bit thin on a couple sides, which is not a problem, since I still have the other side of the door to do. There it is. And less than 1/3 of a bottle. That was 50 grams of the black, or 60 grams of the black, and 20 grams of the accelerator. And just enough. Just enough. The door is 82 by 40. The header board is 4.5 inches by a little more than 80. I cut it down from 8 feet. I'm going to say it's about 90 inches for the header board. And the coverage was just enough, but I have lots left over for touching up anywhere that got too thin, and for finishing the other side. Definitely worthwhile. Definitely worked out.